I was pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church in Magnolia, Arkansas. That's where we really got to know each other. We'd at least seen each other in the church I was pastoring just out of Atlanta, Alamance Baptist Church. She came home for the summer from teaching school in Texarkana. We got acquainted better there, got married before, right after she went back to school.
I always wanted to be a preacher's wife, so he was a preacher and pretty good looking. So he would take me out on dates, and we would go to a Dairy Queen or somewhere, and he would buy me a Coke and he'd get a glass of water. We started dating in June.
Right.
And then he asked me to marry him on my birthday, and then we got married 2 weeks later. And in that time, my mother made a wedding dress, and the church at Emmanuel gave us a wedding shower.
And also we went to Shreveport and bought furniture.
Yeah, he took my little red Comet, sold it, and bought furniture with the money.
Really, I borrowed the money and then sold it to pay the money back.
We went to a camp in Myrtle, Mississippi. On the way back, I got real nauseated, real sick. Went to the doctor, and he said a baby was on the way, and that nausea lasted until the day she was born, Lisa.
It was a really tough virus. Before I graduated, we moved to Pollock, just out of Lufkin, Texas, and I began pastoring there. And we had some real good friends there, Leon and Betty Morris.
Best friends we ever had.
Graduated from Southwestern Seminary in May of '68. While I was working on my Master of Divinity degree, Carolyn was working on her PhD. That PhD stood for Putting Hubby Through. From there we moved to Grangerland, First Baptist Church, and that was really a high mark in our life. God just really blessed in our ministry there.
As a pastor's wife, I did everything. I had quit. I hadn't taught school in several years, and I decided that I would go back and start teaching school again. And the first year I taught, I was having some problems, and I went to the doctor, and I actually thought he was going to tell me it was menopause because I was 39 years old. But he said, no, it's Santa Claus. Told me I was pregnant, and they told me there was a slight chance of a miscarriage, and it was, I think the test cost $400. So I told him, I said, well, there's no way that I'm going to have an abortion. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to have an abortion anyway. I remember I went into my bedroom and sat down in my rocking chair, and I just prayed to the Lord, and I said, Lord, I don't even know if I would know how to take care of a mongoloid baby or not, but I know that if this is what you want for us, I know that you will help me to do it. And so I just turned the whole thing over to him, and then I had this wonderful, wonderful peace that everything would be all right. I had no idea. The Lord didn't tell me if she would be a mongoloid or not. But he just gave me this wonderful, wonderful peace. August the 2nd, Laurie was born perfectly, perfectly healthy. And we just praised the Lord. And she was another wonderful, wonderful joy to our life. It was a real blessing. Both of our daughters went off to college at East Texas Baptist College, where Charles went. And each of them met a young, dynamic preacher and fell in love, and each of them married preachers. And that's just been a real, real blessing to us that both of our daughters, I'm sure not that they planned it this way, but I guess the Lord did. But they followed in our footsteps in that way, and they both married preachers and have made wonderful preachers' wives, and we're just so proud of both of them, and that's just been a real, real blessing. Plus David and Kevin have been a joy, joy, joy to us also through all these years.
And then we retired. In 2000. It was the 50th anniversary of the First Baptist Church in Grangerland, and it was our 30th anniversary. And we retired that day, the last Sunday in April in 2000. After that, we moved here to Cibolo, Texas, across the street from Lisa and David and
Callie.
At that time, Callie was the only granddaughter we had. Of course, Callie was our first granddaughter and adopted. Callie was adopted, or David and Lisa got her. She wasn't adopted really. Adoption wasn't complete for 2 years after we moved back here, but she was adopted, and, or they got her there, not far from Conroe. Kingwood actually is where they picked her up and brought her to our house. And what a blessing she's been. And
We were all there for her birth.
yeah,
And Lisa and I were in the delivery room, and David cut the cord, and it was a real joy because we had waited and waited for our first grandchild, so that was a real blessing and joy. But then every grandchild has been a real blessing and joy, every single one of them. After Callie came Michaela. She was also adopted, but she was about 6 months old when we got her, and she had a heart condition and had to have a pacemaker, but she's been a real joy and blessing. And then just a few months after we got Michaela, along came Allie Beth, and so they've been the best of buddies and give us so many hours of joy, the two of them. And then we had our first grandson, Caleb. We didn't quite know what to do with the little boy, but we sure have had fun trying to figure it all out. Our number 5 was Olivia, and she may be number 5, but right now she's number 1 to everybody. She's been a really joy and blessing. And it's been such a joy to get to live close to all of them.
This 50 years has been a real blessing and a real joy, and I'd do it all over again.
Me too. We retired, but we didn't retire.
Right. I first was a chaplain at Northeast Methodist Church, Methodist Hospital, and I served, while I was there, I did a lot of interim work, or fill-ins for Metropolitan Methodist downtown, for Rio Dosa Rehab Center, and other places at different times. But then the church here at First Baptist asked me to come on staff part-time as associate pastor of senior adults. And I've been there going on 6 years, and that's really been a blessing, and I've enjoyed that ministry.
Teaching the Bible. I've taught a ladies' Sunday school class almost the entire time we've been here in Universal City. An older ladies' Sunday school class, which has been a real blessing to my life. And one of the highlights, every year we have a Christmas luncheon, and I put out all my 20 manger scenes that I collect and decorate the house for them, and it's just a real joy to have them all here. And then we have we call it a domino gang of senior adults that we play with on a pretty regular basis that has added a lot of joy to our life. And you've gone on a couple of mission trips.
Right.
And David has gone on mission trips, and Callie's gone on mission trips, and Kevin's gone on mission trips, and Laurie just came back from Vietnam. So all of this has been a real blessing to see our kids so involved in the Lord's work. And for the first 38 years of my life, my husband was my pastor. And then for the last 12, my son-in-law has been my pastor. But that's all been a real joy. I have 2 wonderful son-in-laws that do wonderful jobs of preaching. And it's just a blessing to see. I feel like that Charles and I blended our 2 lives into one.
Just find out what she wants and do it. No, seriously, it's not only that, but it's also the fact of staying true to the purpose that God has given you and the call that He's given into your life.